how overnight you want to change the whole India? How it is possible? It is not possible at all. It is not practically viable. This idea is totally stupid.
The central topic of this special session would be one nation, one election.
Instability will be there. The country, the totally will, the growth and the progress and the people mind, everything will be disturbed. There will be you cannot have control on anything.
In the last 10 years, they have won the cowbelt states, and wherever they have won, they are using the whole country's taxpayers' money to subsidize rations in the poorest cowbelt states to buy the votes.
Welcome all to DYNT News new podcast. As we all know that the special parliamentary session is going to take place. It is going to happen on September 17, and a lot of narratives are being thrown around. What kind of bill that may get passed in that session? One narrative that has come forward is one nation, one election. The logical reason behind this one nation, one election is that when the founding fathers created India and our constitution was passed, all our elections used to happen at the same time. The central as well as the state elections. Right now, Modi government is giving that same narrative that there is too much of waste of monetary resources as well as human resources. So a one nation, one election kind of plan is beneficial for the upcoming civilizational Hindu state that Narendra Modi is trying to create in India. So welcome all. Today we have with us Bodhisattva Maiti, who is a associate editor of a news portal, and also we have Kathir Ares, who is the founder of We Diligence movement. It's a digital movement. So first and foremost, opening comments. Let's go to Maitida, and then we'll go to Kathir Bhai.
Yeah. So I don't think that the arguments that have been forwarded, the way it has been done, they give us a lot of subliminal messaging for those who are keyed into the everyday politics of India. So, for example, the Modi government has, as part of its so-called strongman, quote unquote, 56-inch imagery, uh, made it sure since 2014 that the regular leaks, quote unquote, that used to happen from North and South bloc towards the media, which is how media used to get all their breaking stories. So, lots of secretaries, MLA, MPs, etc., used to regularly speak with the media, right? And quite often off the record. So that they stopped, right? Uh, Partially, it created the image of this strongman, and partially, it allowed Mr. Modi to make those grandiose announcements that he regularly is in a habit of making, right? Coming to TV at 8 o'clock in the evening and making some an announcement, etc. This time, there is a deluge of leaks, quote unquote, that is happening surrounding this special session, and it happened almost simultaneously with the official announcement that to have this special session. Uh, uh, Literally, we came to know sitting in Noida before the official announcement that the central topic of this special session would be one nation, one election, right? That is an indication. It has never happened. In a way, uh, more than anything else, it shows to me that the Modi government is undoubtedly a bit worried. I won't say it needs to be very worried, but it is a bit worried. And obviously, the reason is nascent India alliance of the opposition parties. While they try to, break that down with whatever means they have, whether it is ED, CBI, whatever. Meanwhile, they have to do things to somehow subvert the whole issue. Why? Look at it in very practical terms. uh, there was excess rainfall up to July across the country. Because of that excess rainfall, as we know, there have been floods and landslides in many northern states. But onwards, the rainfall has gone down to such an extent that it is running overall this year's monsoon deficit. Now, all these have a cascading impact towards the end of the year, when the reaping season comes, harvesting season comes, right? So they have to do whatever they have to do before that. Meanwhile, you have five elections lined up, for which uh, it has now become a regular thing over the last 10 years that they almost announce the exact dates literally 1 month or even less before the actual date of elections. Earlier, we used to know officially at least 2 3 months before when the elections exact dates would be held. Now they have made it into a habit of doing it just a month or less before the elections. So the rumor that we all have been hearing about them trying to go for this one nation, one election altogether, simultaneously we have also sitting here in Noida already heard that it is not really about the entire country, but what do is they're going to club those five states elections with the Lok Sabha elections, which will be preponed by several months, right? Now, what it does, of course, as we can understand, is that India, the opposition alliance, is still in its nascent stage. So they are still groping around, trying to strike deals, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi has announced his second part of the Bharat Jodo Yatra to start October 2. Now, if the elections are held in November, that means he won't be able to hold the Bharat Jodo
Bharat
Yatra.
Jodo, yes. Yeah, yeah.
And that plays exactly into the kind of mindset that Mr. Modi has displayed all along, and something for which his bhakts hated him. That is the the unique thing about it. No matter what he does, the more outrageous, the more uh, sectarian steps that Mr. Modi takes, the more his bhakts feel that it is a reflection of his manliness, of his manhood, right?
Okay.
It has a very Freudian impact on his audience, on his bhakts.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your opening comments. Let's go to Katir Bhai. Katir Bhai, please unmute yourself.
It's
Opening
already.
comments, Katir Bhai.
Yeah, thank you first of all inviting to this show. It's a very good topic. It's a current topic discussing. Um, to start with, I would like to give one small example. We have two hands and 5, 10 fingers, and if at all someone decides to have only one finger, what it can happen? So you have to cut all the fingers out, and we will have one finger, or you cut all the other fingers and you have only one finger. It is something like that. So India India is a diversified country. We have so many states together formed Indian Union. So when you want to have it's a one everything, one nation, one ration card, one election kind of thing, it's absolute nonsense, I can say. Okay, one is not fit for this country. You can have a uni concept, not one concept. So if you look at the practicality of this, it's absolute nonsense, absolute stupidity, even someone claims, in my point of view. I don't know if anybody vary their opinion on this. If you can have a different opinion on this, that's up to you. But in my point of view, there are hell lot of difficulties in executing this idea. Basically, these guys are thinking this when they talk about the monetization, demonetization. In one sweep they can make all the black money to white, and can eradicate the complete black money out of the country. See, this is something like similar idea it is actually. So you cannot do that. It is practically not possible, and it is already proven by scheme like demonetization already had proven this idea. And they are thinking that one India means how one now overnight you want to change the whole India. How it is possible? It is not possible at all. It is not practically viable. This idea is totally stupid.
Okay, Maitida wants to come in here. What is your point, Maitida? Unmute, please.
Yeah, I am in sync with what Mr. Kathir has been saying. I just want to point out that it is not, forget about the feasibility, right? Which is quite correct in pointing out. Let us look at the philosophical, the underpinning of the movement. The whole idea of a staggered electoral calendar as we have in India. Obviously, the first time elections are held in any country after independence, all elections are going to be held at the same time, which is what had happened in 1952. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that it has to be continued every time. And there are practical issues about it. What if a government is dismissed in between? What if a government fails? I mean, BJP is in itself big proponent of Operation Kamala.
democracy.
So they go to any state and buy off the
Yeah,
MLAs, and middle of the term they topple the government. What happens then? So those are practical issues, of course. But philosophically, the whole idea of a staggered election is that the center, who is in power, doesn't have an undue influence on the electoral results of the states when the state elections are held simultaneously. Now he wants to change that. One reason, the big reason, is because he knows that in 10 years, two things that he knows, that we also know, everyone knows, is that BJP wins elections not because of it's done, not because of its MLAs, MPs, ministers, etc., but because of Modi. That is, and it is beyond even the hardcore Hindutva agenda. He has tapped into, let us be frank here, he has tapped into some recesses of the Indian psyche, where agglomeration of all kinds of things, from this kind of desperation to get a global recognition, all kinds of things, they've all come together. It is a concatenation of all these factors. So people who have no idea about everyday electoral politics, or everyday practical how politics is practiced in India, or about secularism, or all these concepts, they seem to be in awe of Modi. And it is, of course, a result of a huge PR campaign. But then why, even in councillor elections, we know he has campaigned for councillor elections in
yeah, yeah. Modi
Hyderabad,
has campaigned. Modi has campaigned
right? In
in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad, done,
Okay.
huh? He has done in two also. So,
Yeah.
the reason is somehow, for unknown, let's just say X reason, his face seems to give them that edge that no one else possesses. Good, bad, we are not that. It is there. Let's just accept it. So he wants to capitalize on that. and he wants to do that for the results of these 5 states which are supposed to go for assembly elections come out,
Okay.
because the wind that is there is that they might, we can't
Mhm.
say, because they are an electoral machine that is
Mhm.
unparalleled in the history of the world.
Let me play the devil's advocate here. Okay. From the BJP's point of view, if they are going to do this early elections, snap elections as we call it in academic terms, like is it not better to do it after Ram Mandir has been created, like sometime in February? Or if this election does happen as Maitida was saying, in the month of November, and the 5 state elections are clamped along with the parliamentary elections, then it is also possible now that the India alliance gets momentum, because right now in those 5 states, there are some anti-incumbency against the BJP also. And at the same time, we also need to look at the Orissa model, where last time in 2019, elections happened, and people at the center, voted, who wanted to vote for Modi, they voted for Modi to be at the center. But people who wanted Patnaik to be at Orissa, they voted for that party. They did not vote for the BJP. The election happened at the same time. So, like, can we? You are projecting this as a calculated move. This can also backfire on the BJP. Katir bhai, first comment.
Yeah, what is backfiring for BJP or what is going to benefit for BJP is absolutely immaterial here. The idea itself basically wrong. That is what my point is.
Yeah,
Because in country
agree.
like India cannot afford to have such plans even to think of, because it's a large country, Mr. Mehti was mentioning. Every election we are putting a new record in the world, that the number of voters, the number of constituencies in all the aspects, we are keeping a world record every time. So you want to disturb that system by making this idea. Even if you, the very beginning, in the nascent stage itself, be rejected according to my analysis. Many, as he rightly pointed out, there will be a lot of practical issues. At least I can list 100 issues, if you want me to list out. That is in terms of execution point of view. But the idea itself are a very very stupid idea. That is what I am trying to say. This where it is coming from. You must think it is coming from the Hindu Rashtra, the Akhand Bharat concept. Want to have
Hmm.
one language, one ration card, one. This all one. They are always telling. No, this comes
Hmm.
from that idea. It's even they did not even realizing what big mistake they are making, and they're spending money to do some research on that. They're putting a committee to look at it. It is absolute nonsense. Again, I'm saying, I am repeatedly saying that it's absolute nonsense they are doing. Because
Well,
see, another thing is that when they say one election, that will move on to the no election concept next. Actually, there won't
exactly,
be any
exactly.
democracy. They want to kill the total democratic fabric of this nation. That is what the real idea. That is why this
Yes,
this devil concepts are coming and floating across.
yes,
That is what
yes,
my
yes,
point.
yes, yes, yes. Yes. Thank you for bringing this up. When just as you're saying, I was thinking of the concept of Aryabhatta and Swaraj. Like just like Gandhi had an idea of Swaraj, even these guys had an idea of Swaraj, and they want to create the what do you say, the city states that used to be in the Vedic times. I forgot what was the Vedic term. They completely want to destroy the Indian democratic setup, the federal structure of India, rather the quasi-federal structure of India. They want to completely destroy the structure. Basically, the BJP government is trying to Pakistanize, India, because in Pakistan also elections happen at the same time. Okay, Maitida wants to come here. Maitida.
Yeah, so basically, the Pakistanization would be a fallout that is a result. It is not the intention, conscious intention. The conscious intention is very simple. Even today, they are very practical. They might give out an image of something else, but they, they are an electoral machine, and they look at it very practically. And in those practical terms, they know that right now the one state from where they are going to get maximum benefits, and they will continue in the near future. They will get all the seats, if not all, almost all. That is basically two states. One is Gujarat and the other is UP. And the UP is a game changer. Game changer because on its own carries 80 seats, as a result of which UP has, barring Narasimha Rao, always given the prime minister. Even Modi had to come to UP to become the prime minister, right? So UP, and now if they win after 2026, after the reorganization that is bound to happen, they will give UP and all the cowbelt states enough seats by which the cowbelt will alone give it the kind of majority. Out of 500 seats out of 1000, let's say, will
Yeah,
come from the five cowbelt states. If that
yeah,
happens, democracy is practically it has been short circuited, right? Because
yeah,
what are they doing already in the last 10 years? They have won the cowbelt states, and wherever they have won, they are using the whole country's taxpayers money to
mm,
subsidize rations in the poorest cowbelt states to buy the votes, right? So once that gets institutionalized, they don't even have to. Now also they know in the south they barely win. In the
mm,
east they win. They don't win Bengal, but they win other states. And even in Bengal, they, whatever seats they get, it is because of various understandings they have with various parties there, right? Trinamool, for
mm,
example, right?
mm,
And that is, at the end of the day, it is an understanding that happens at the end of a gun, that is ED, CBI, IT raids on Mrs. Banerjee and her near and dear ones. So anytime these people might gather courage and simply say, because that is what is apparently happening on the surface. I'm not going into the subterranean whatever things are happening in the India. If Mrs. Banerjee gets in and properly, right, then those 18 seats that they had got in 2019 from Bengal, they won't win there. Rather, the CPM and Congress might end up with a few seats from there. Now, that is a dangerous sign for Modi who and his electoral machinery. I just want to intervene a little bit on your point about Odisha. So, two things here. First of all, in Odisha, they have a long standing understanding that you vote for Naveen in the state and you vote
mm.
for Modi at the center.
It,
Now, even there is a basic thing that we don't come to think of often, which is that these kind of things, they work better in South India and East India. It's another matter that in South India it doesn't happen often. But if say Modi has a great alliance with Jayalalitha and the DMK is on the way out, then that kind of transfer of voting might well happen in
yeah,
Tamil Nadu. It
yeah.
might. I'm just saying, but it becomes much more riotous and difficult in North India because of the lack of education.
Let's go to Katir Bhai. Last comments, Katir Bhai, then I will sum it up. Katir Bhai.
Yeah, yeah. How many times you ask me, I will stick on the same point. I not even interested to discuss about this. This is absolute nonsense. If you want, if you force me to say, there are several practical issue. It will lead to the governor rule in every state. It will lead to the president rule in the country for that unstable government situation. Must maybe you'll be remembering those days in the 90s, the end of the 90s. The continuously we had so many elections, and there was unstable government. The prime minister were switching. So many prime minister we had in the last 3 4 years of the 90s, till the
Yeah,
Vajpayee came to the second time. Those are unstable.
yeah.
Instability will be there. The country, the totally will. The growth and the progress and the people mind, everything will be disturbed. There will be you cannot have control on anything. So a lot of
Check.
disasters will happen in as a nation.
Yes,
That is
yes,
one major
yes,
point I would like to mention here. Yeah, I don't accept
yes.
this idea at all. But since you mentioned to have some opinion on that, there are so many issues I can list out. Let's say the demonetization. If you see as an idea, some people thought, wow, before the demonetization, there were people who discussed this idea in public forum, in a train in the train journey or the coffee shop or tea shop, and all people come out with the idea like all this 500 rupees note and 1,000 rupees should be scrapped, so that nobody can save. Even in the movie they kept a scene. When it comes to the
Mm,
practical, this government has not even have an ability to plan it properly. Even the
mm,
ATM machine were not able to dispense those notes. They changed the note sizes. There was so much of money spent, 500 600 crore, to change the machines all over the nation. So that was a disaster. Apart from the people, the death of the people, the what do you call it, the unrest situation across the nation. The technically also they had the inability to execute a technical aspect of the demonetization process. So that is their ability, that is their focus, or the knowledge level, I can say. So when you say something, legendary ideas or revolutionary ideas, that will look, when you hear it, it looks sound
no,
so nice. When you
Kadir
come into
bhai,
the
Kadir,
practicality,
ha,
yeah.
Kadir bhai. That is not what why I am discussing this. It is to be seen by the BJP voter. It has to be clearly spelled out to BJP voter that how disturbing, far fetched, and problematic these ideas are. So that is why we are. I'm trying to play the devil's advocate here. Anyways, Kadir bhai, thank
Yeah.
you for your point of view, and thank you, Maitida, also for your point of view. Maitida has brought up an interesting point here regarding Bengal elections and what may happen in Bengal, and we will have a in-depth analysis on that. And I am also part of the political setup in Bengal, so we can discuss it in a very nice way. Thank you all for joining with us. We hope that you like this video and you share and subscribe this video. Thanks for watching DYNT News. Today we are discussing the various implications that special parliament session can have on the democratic setup in India. Whatever we discussed is something purely in speculation. We still don't know what kind of bill is going to be passed. Some were also saying that a women's reservation bill might get put forward, and it might be the only bill. And this one nation, one election might be another narrative to divert uh, the public mood. And we all know how the BJP machinery utilizes psychological warfare tactics. It does have a great election machinery and does have a great propaganda strategy too. Thanks for watching. Let's hope that we are proved right. Then maybe you start watching Date News and see us as the new Nostradamus of Indian political scene. Please like, share, and subscribe. Our platform is called DYNT, Democratize Your Nation Today. Our tagline, Awaken One Human at a Time. Thanks for watching.